as well. Okay, great. Welcome to the Town of Fort Smith regular meeting of August 5th, 2025. I can confirm that we have quorum. We're all here in person. The mayor and council wish to acknowledge the town of Fort Smith is located within Treaty 8 territory. Treaty 8 territory also encompasses the traditional homelands of Salt River First Nation, Thabetee, Dennisithline Nation, and the indigenous Métis people of Fort Smith. These nations have maintained stewardship of their sacred lands and throughout the generations, and we honor your knowledge, teachings, traditions, and the land. We are mindful that colonization has not been kind, and we respectfully recognize our generational histories and commit to strive for unity in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. If I can have someone move the agenda.
I move the agenda be adopted as presented.
I can
second.
Okay, thanks. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, agenda is passed. We have no delegations today. The regular meeting council of July 25th or July 7th, 2025 doesn't need to be moved again. It's already been passed, so it's just for, is that for a reference? Is that correct?
That one hasn't been moved.
This one hasn't?
That was our last meeting.
Oh, okay. Regular meeting. Okay, so if I can have someone move that?
I'll move that the minutes of the regular meeting 07-25 of July 22nd, 2025 be adopted as presented.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, to be. All in favor? All right, passed unanimously. Any business arising from those minutes? No? Okay, seeing none. We're moving on to declaration of financial interest. We have none. No disclosures of interest. Moving on to administration, we have our minutes from the last protective service meeting in there for your information, and we have our director's report. Do you want to speak to it? You want to give the highlights?
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. So statistics are there to be reviewed. There's nothing, again, overly different from previous months. We're at or above our average 5-year response rates. Lands enforcement, definitely proactive enforcement's down, but that's because we're going through a lot of existing files and just cleaning them up and following up on existing stuff. So that's what the lands officer's been up to. Bylaw enforcement is at about average, mixture of proactive and reactive enforcement from public outreach. I guess a key point would be that myself and Nick were recently deployed. This is a new deployment opportunity, through structural fire departments to ADCC as a mutual aid through MACA, basically to provide wildland urban interface of firefighting capacity to other communities in the north. It's a great opportunity to work with ECC as an agency partner in emergency response. It's a chance for us to use our own equipment and deploy it out to other communities where we can set up structure protection, work with other structure protection specialists to gain knowledge and experience, and it is also a potential revenue stream for the department, so it's definitely cost neutral, and then there's usually a daily rate for both our Type 6 engine and our structure protection trailer that we took with us. This is the first deployment really of its kind ever in the north. It's a program that exists in other jurisdictions like Alberta, BC. So this is really exciting. It's something that the Fire Chiefs Association and certainly Fort Smith, Hay River, Fort Simpson have been exploring as an opportunity again, so that when we need help, Hay River has worked with us, Fort Simpson's worked with us, we've worked with their equipment, we've all worked under ECC, so we understand where we fit in the ICS structure. So it was a really good deployment. We were gone out of community for a total of 6 days. Our structural protection equipment's actually still set up in Jean Marie River on structures, and it will remain there for the next 5 to 7 days, hopefully. Fire conditions change all the time, but right now it's looking a lot better in that region, and firefighters on the ground are doing really good work. So ECC is running our equipment daily along with their equipment. We deployed a lot of stuff, so it wasn't just ours, it was also ECC resources. And they'll continue to do that until we go over and demo and bring the equipment back. So again, it was real world experience, better than any training course that we could ever take. And it is an opportunity to realize some revenue and keep money in the north instead of bringing in structural departments from the south. So great opportunity, really exciting. I think that there will be a lot of lessons learned, and we'll explore that in after action events later this year. That's the main highlights, and then sorry, Councillor Parashak, if I could just add, because I didn't and you asked me to, an update on
I was gonna ask about it.
Simpson Street parking. So Andrew, Director of Municipal Services, and myself went over there and we took measurements. He's placed orders for all of the stuff that was discussed, so signage, barricades to keep vehicles from parking on the sidewalks, etc. So as soon as we're ready to place that equipment, we'll be getting lines painted and putting up signage. So that's where we're at. We're just waiting on stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, thank you. Is there any questions about the director's report?
I'll get two actually.
Okay.
One, what liability or risk, if any, of our equipment gets lost or damaged, does Fort Smith face in that exchange? And secondly, what if we suddenly need our equipment back? What's the projected turnaround on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, thank you. So the first question is a good one, and it's one that we're going to have to work through as we go through this process, but the daily rate for our equipment would far exceed wear and tear and normal losses. It's certainly something that we're going to need to discuss further in the after action review this year, and I'm eyes wide open to those kinds of concerns, for sure. The second piece, so right now, what structure protection equipment we have, we sourced during 2023. Before that was never anything that we had in this community, so it's a fairly new level of service. We actually have wildfire resiliency funding that we just applied on, and we should be hearing back on it pretty soon. It will include the purchase of a Type 2 structure protection trailer, which is what is deployed by ECC and high-level other other jurisdictions that have this kind of internal capacity. So from my standpoint, we're at all threatened. If there's any risk to our community, we're not deploying. This isn't a mandatory deployment. I would never take resources away from a community that has any risk of being threatened in that way. But also I would transition our existing equipment into being dedicated town equipment anyways. So if we were to deploy, we would keep what we have now, which is enough for almost 50 homes, a great start. We would keep that in community, and that would be an in-town resource. So we would never dispatch it all. But certainly if there's ever any concern, we would be sending our equipment or people out of town.
Thank you. Any other questions on the director's report? Councilor Cox?
Yeah, just, thanks. Yeah, I think Mike kind of brought up the same concerns that I had. The other thought I was having is determining a minimum amount in town and kind of having a quantifiable threshold for keeping stuff in town so that it doesn't reflect on one of us or any of us. If we have to make that call that we need to keep stuff in town, we have some kind of policy to back us up. So if you need something from us on that side, maybe we can help provide some policy and guidance on that so that if there are decisions that have to be made, they're made ahead of time.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you, Councillor Cox. I appreciate that, and those are things, we have existing SOGs on how we will retain a certain level of response in community, so I think it's just building on that for this level of service piece. And again, I'll be bringing an after action review report to this table come the fall when I have more information. And certainly there are questions that still need to be answered, but I'm excited that we got to try it and go operational rather than talk about it for the next several years. I think that was a really positive step. So yeah, I'm aware of these questions. I certainly appreciate them and I'm open to them, and we need to have answers, absolutely.
Thank you. Any other questions on the director's report? No? Okay. So moving on to corporate services. In your package, you have the corporate services meeting from July 8th for your information, and you have the director's report. On the director's report, SAO, did you guys want to speak to it?
As this is Jim's last meeting, I'd love if you wanted to give sort of a high level and be prepared to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. The director's report is pretty much the same as it has been before. The director position is still vacant, and if the SAO wishes to comment on that, she's certainly welcome to do so. The manager of human resources has been working in her position now for nearly a month. We've already seen some of the effects of having that position. Very positive in helping out with our payroll clerk in that, there's the interactions with our insurer, NEBS, and pension and group benefits. Also in dealing with employees who are on long-term and short-term disability, working with them and the cooperators, the insurer, to get them back to work, to determine whether we're able to accommodate some of their needs as they come back to work. And so she's been busy, and I think this is a position that will certainly help support all of the departments in their human resource challenges going forward. The June utility bills went out on July 23rd. This is later than normal, but due to staff leave, annual leave, and medical leave, this was later than normal. But the August billing should be out, or the July billing, which comes out in August, will be closer to what we would expect the first or second week of August. We've been operating our efforts to try and close outstanding utility bills, and as part of that is the first round was notices to anyone who was in arrears greater than 3 months to bring their account up to date. They've had a month to do that. Any that haven't been brought up to date, the next step will be to notify them that they're subject to disconnection, and that'll be done with not only mail out bills but also door hangers, and to notify them that they're subject to discontinuation of services from the town. Our accounts receivable billing, along with our utility billing, is later than normal this month, but again, we should be back closer to normal. We continue to try and work on upgrading our the way we do things as far as uploading information from our financial software directly into the bank so that employees can get paid in a smoother fashion. Right now, the process is that the payment to employees needs to be manually entered into the bank and so forth. So this would alleviate a step with that. We're running into issues between our our financial software provider and the bank, so we're working through those. We're also looking at, again, the customer portal with our financial software, and we have some pricing on that, and before the end of my time, I'll sit down with the SAO and we'll come up with a game plan on whether we want to, if that's something we want to introduce mid-year, or whether that's something that we should look at putting together a capital submission for the start of next year and then do it then type of thing. So we'll have those discussions and ensure that the SAO will bring the information forward. Other than that, I'd like to thank council for the opportunity to once again come back and provide some assistance to the town, and I hope that your search for a director of corporate services is successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there questions on the report? Councillor Heaton?
Sure. I still don't know who our HR officer is.
Oh, come in and meet her.
Okay. It's just difficult with the 9 to 5, right? Because we had also put in a request that she had sent out an email or anything really. Okay.
SEO? Can we bring her in to meet
I
everyone
don't
on one
usually bring around new staff to meet council, but council's absolutely welcome when they're in the office to swing by our office and introduce themselves. We don't usually subject them to having to come down here.
No, I don't, she doesn't need to come here, but if I see her in that grocery store, I'd like to be able to, hey, welcome to Smith. I hear you're the HR manager.
Yeah.
I haven't actually met her yet, so.
I came in a minute a week ago, she was very nice.
Any other questions on the director's report? Councillor Cox?
Thank you. Just big thanks to Jim for helping us out yet again. Look forward to next time.
I didn't want to say that, Carl.
But I thought I had, I don't know if I mentioned it here or not, but if we can't find anybody in Canada apparently to replace Jim, have we looked elsewhere?
We
Like a
definitely,
period is-
sorry.
Yeah, SAO. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely get resumes, a lot of them from overseas. I mean, our ads on Indeed and things like that, where international applicants definitely check the boards. We get that, and actually, I think I just sent you something about immigration today, didn't I? About looking at the different programs. So. We're, just a quick update since we're doing that. I met today with our recruiters and we're putting together sort of some different options that I'll sit down with the HR committee and sort of look at different ways that maybe we could tackle this, because after a year of it not being filled, we're starting to, we have to get a little more creative. So I'll be bringing that forward in the next week or so.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments, questions on the director's report? Okay, then moving on, we have the accounts paid list that will be in your package. Is there any questions? It's for your information. Is there any questions arising from the accounts paid list? No? Okay, then going on through, we have correspondences from, there was lots. It was a busy month. Is there any questions about the correspondences that we've had? There's a lots of, I responded to a lot of meeting requests. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just wondering if we were gonna, there's like a specific, essentially a donation request. Are we gonna speak to that? Like
Legion,
the one from the Legion?
buying an ad in their book. Good catch.
SAO, is there, did we just respond to that directly?
Actually, I'm just reading through it. I don't know if we did, is it in the list?
It just says it should be brought up to council.
We should do something like that.
Oh, then I guess it is for discussion.
Oh, yeah.
We're seeing it for the first time today.
Oh, okay, okay. Perfect. So then I'll open the floor. Yeah.
Do we have any money left over in the donations?
SAO, do you know the balance?
No, I don't have on the budget, and I know, but I do know the public relations budget. But this is for an advertisement space, so if the town wishes to do something to put it in,
To advertise our HR.
Or,
vacancy.
yeah,
Or not HR,
I think,
sorry.
Secretary?
I think it's an advertisement celebrating the Legion's work. It's not an advertisement for just advertising purposes. It's, it'd be sort of, 100 years of good service, that kind of promotional awareness. I know I would, I'll keep saying that, I'm trying to, we're gonna say by having 2 meetings a month. This is one that, I think is a good one to support the Legion and a lot of good work in the community.
Councillor Heaton? I mean, sorry, Babe, I was looking.
I agree. The Legion does a lot of good things in our community. I just wonder about we've talked about prioritizing if we are giving money to see like actions happening in town and kind of supporting activities. So like I would be happy if like the Legion was doing, not that this isn't doing something, but like doing something here in Fort Smith and supporting it rather than this specific item.
Thank you, Councillor Parashuk.
Yeah, this isn't going towards our local branch or supporting any activities within the town. This is just a publication that seeks money for advertisement, and Legion, has in some years advertised, some years not, but to me, I don't think it's a worthwhile expenditure, and I would give it a pass.
Thank you. Other comments? There's no motion on the floor, so this is just discussion. It doesn't have to be.
So the only thing the observers are on it is that if you go down to their letter, it's an ask from anywhere from $2,700 or $2,900 down to $345 because this is what you can buy for the ad. But I'm going to defer to Councillor Kirchhoff's comment that if he doesn't think this is a really good Legion product for our community, then no.
I'm not saying it's not a good Legion product.
sorry.
I don't think it's a good value for our dollar.
Our dollars,
Yeah.
and this we can help the Legion in other ways, maybe. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, so then if there's no further discussion or motion, then it's just for discussion. So going on, any of the other correspondence?
Yeah, scroll back up now. So, can you ask a
Yes,
question?
Deputy Mayor?
How did you, can you give us a quick summation of how you felt your interviews went on the Prime Minister's visit? You seem to have done a number. Were they gentle or unfair? I didn't hear any of them, so.
Yeah, no, there was a lot in one day, so they were
expect.
much the same, and it was overall positive, and I didn't feel that anything negative was brought up, no. I think they went really well. Good. The overall media exposure to that. All right, so nothing else on correspondence? So then there's a briefing note for our information, miscellaneous revenue and expenses lines from the audit. I know it was brought forward from, oh, sorry.
Before you go ahead, there's another one here that Adam caught earlier. There's just one for research. Do we need to talk about that today, or is that
You absolutely can discuss it. That's more for our information. They were letting us know that they're gonna be conducting research in the community, and it's just so that we're aware that.
So they don't need an approval from us?
No, they're letting, it's just like Sparks. Remember when Sparks came in and they were doing that research on trying to promote kids to be science-minded and work in those careers in those fields? This is much like that. They're just letting you know that that kind of research is going on in the community. Anything else?
And the Salt River event coming up is in there as well.
Yeah, been added to my calendar and we're all invited.
We're just speak to that at
I was
all.
gonna when I was talking to you to speak.
Okay, good.
But I could talk to it now.
It's in the correspondence, so I just saw it there.
No, that'll be a good thing. I mean, everyone should come out to that. It's their event and they're launching their new homes and things on their property, and I think it'd be a good community event. So then, on the briefing note for miscellaneous revenue and expenses, it was brought up from the past about some clarification on some line items. Is there any questions about the line items from the audit? Just look at Councilor Heaton.
Yeah, I'm just thankful. Thanks for getting this information out to us. Now it explains that line item a little bit better. Not that we're just overspending. It's just allocations that fell under miscellaneous, so I'm thankful for Director Hood for getting that for me, thank you.
Any other questions about the briefing note, miscellaneous revenue and expenses line? Okay. Seeing none, moving on to the briefing note on the variance. For our information, we had our variance report ending for June 30th. Is there any questions about that variance report? No, there was a little information talks about all the why things are out or where they are and where they sit. Did you want to speak to it at all, Director? No.
We'll leave it for council to ask questions.
Okay.
It's my last meeting, he says.
All right. Seeing no questions from the variance report, then yeah. Oh, sorry, Councilor Couvette.
Just a question as to whether we should have a motion to accept the third quarter or the second quarter variance report as presented.
It's presented as information. You can make it if, is there,
Well, I'm just looking at the recommendation on the bottom.
The council accept the second.
More information.
What'd you do, Jim?
Follow
No,
the template on the first variance.
Historically,
For information, yeah.
historically, there has been a motion to accept the variance reports.
SAO?
It's not really required any more than the briefing of the miscellaneous revenue historically. But again, just a reminder, like it's for information because it is only a snapshot. This is just where we're at today. It's not it's not unaudited by any way, shape or form.
Thank you. Any other questions on the variance report? Okay, seeing none. We're at the briefing note for the guardrail along McDougal. If I could have someone read in the motion.
I'll do that. So, I move that council accepts this update for information and affirms that the town holds operational jurisdiction over municipal roads, access points, and the associated safety infrastructure, including the installation of guardrails. Council supports the town's continued operational authority to implement safety measures, manage access, and maintain the integrity of its infrastructure in accordance with applicable bylaws, transportation plans, and public safety considerations.
Thank you. And seconder?
Second.
Councilor Cox. Okay. Discussion? Councilor Heaton?
Sure. My first question is where is the sign going? In between the triangle? Because it's not identified in the photo that you sent in the note.
SAO?
From what I remember, I thought there was a picture, I think I was sent a picture that, the projected is exactly, it's right in the middle of that triangle.
Right in the triangle, okay.
Councilor Heaton?
So, I understand the presentation and the briefing note about how it's hazards such as steep slopes, trees, utility poles, signage, but I feel like we're putting in the hazard because if people are gonna go off the road there, they would have just gone right into that open concrete pad. So I feel like we're putting in a hazard. And then I'm also thinking about oncoming traffic, right? The redirection of vehicles back onto the road, when it gets slippery in that corner, the guardrail is gonna push the vehicle that hits it right into oncoming traffic. And then my third question is about preventing future repair needs. What future repair needs are we actually preventing here? Because it still looks like it's going to be open to people on ATVs or just regular vehicles. is it just the triangle in the middle that won't need repairs, or?
Okay, thank you. SAO?
I will try, only my first day back on this one. So the sign is gonna go in there, so that's according to our transportation plan, we're putting the sign in there. That is a barrier, that is an obstacle that potentially could get hit. As well, we are trying to direct traffic away from our municipal access roads. So that's a part of making that very visual, but also when we put up the signage, that would then become the obstruction that they could hit.
Okay.
The repair and maintenance was a part of that question too. What are we fixing and preventing from being damaged? That was part of the question.
I thought it was going off, I thought it was very clear in there that there's a lot of traffic going off and on to the road and on across the dirt, so it's wrecking the edges of the asphalt.
Thank you. Council Bedwell?
When I heard about this and then and saw the construction of it, I was thinking, what an eyesore. You know, this is not going to prevent. I don't even know why we're putting that there, because I had never heard of accidents there. I've never heard of vehicles like going off the road into that other road. Like, I mean, there was no problem, but what we're doing here is causing a problem. People are worried that this is an accident waiting to happen. I mean, I've heard so much comments about this little corner that the people are not happy with this. They think that this is going to cause more problems than fixing a problem that you never had in the first place.
Thank you. Councillor B?
I'd just like to add maybe a counterpoint to that. I've heard some people like the same sort of thing, like you really see it, but to me that's actually a benefit, right? Because part of the idea is like people do drive really fast in a lot of places in our community. So having something like that where you're like, whoa, there's an obstruction there, that's actually causing people to like mentally check themselves and slow down a little bit going through there.
Maybe a sign.
I mean, it's essentially a visual, right? That's maybe helping with traffic, increasing safety just from that side of things from people, because they do feel like that sense of like being constricted by it. They do feel maybe like it is affecting them, or maybe it's a hazard, but that hazard is mentally making them slow down as they're approaching it.
Thank you.
There's potentially a benefit.
Council Benwell, you had a follow-up?
Yeah, well, maybe putting a sign there instead of this barrier that could cause like great harm. Like I'm so afraid that like vehicle's gonna hit that thing and somebody's gonna get badly hurt. Like, but having a sign there or lights or something there other than that obstacle, because there hasn't, I've never heard of accidents in that corner. Like, you know, I've seen people driving fast and then when they're at that corner, they do slow down. I mean, I don't know, maybe he's got a report on stuff like that, but I just feel that it's an accident waiting to happen, a bad accident waiting to happen.
Thank you. Did you have your hand up?
Me?
Yeah.
Just looking at the picture, I did, just looking at the pictures here. I'm not a building guy, but I would suggest that these are quite dramatic looking pictures, only that the posts are not cut down to size yet. That looks really ugly the way it does here, because they've got, 6-foot posts on them? I don't think they'll be 6 foot tall. They'll be cut right down at the top of the barrier, right? So it's only gonna be a shorter barrier, not as visually offensive as it is right now. So it's an observation, just because you look at that, my immediate reaction is that looks ugly, but it's not finished, and that needs to be understood. It's not finished.
Thank you. Councillor Tucky? Oh.
The concern I have, along with Councillor Benwell, is basically when we first talked about this a couple of weeks ago, I was informed that we were informed at that time there was concern with one certain power pole. And our story seems to have changed. And now the concern is that the off-road vehicles are causing damage to the asphalt. And what kind of damage do you think happens to a fully loaded bumper truck that goes off the asphalt down to the sand? What's going to cause more damage, a fully loaded bumper truck or an ATV? I just feel like the story's changed here. And I've gone through the master transportation plan. There's a lot of good work in there, but I don't see anything about the installation of this particular thing on that master plan. So now the work has begun. We're getting a briefing note. It seems to me the briefing note should have came first, because in order to change something that's been passed by council, the change has to be approved by council. So things are kind of backwards here, which is disappointing because it's not right. And between the corner in question and the turnoff to the trailer court, there's 14 poles. I've got two from a concern list. There are 12 poles right now that are 6 to 8 feet off the road. And the pole that, the pole that we were initially told was of concern is 35 to 40 feet behind the guardrail. To me, the whole reason for putting this, I'm going to call it a monstrosity because that's what it looks like, into place to protect one pole doesn't make sense. And I'm not convinced that these off-road vehicles are causing a lot of damage. I've seen them going off the road all the way up and down the trailer court thing there, and I don't see any asphalt falling apart, so I don't really buy the story that that's a good reason to put that up there. As far as I'm concerned, we're taking a target and moving it 35 feet closer for an accident to happen. If that happens, this council could be held liable. And I think as a responsible councillor, I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm going to be named responsible for someone who didn't seriously hurt or killed, because we didn't look at this situation. As far as I'm concerned, that thing that we're installing there is a hazard. And if you want to actually fix the problem, then turn on the corner and have a road go along the way a different way. Why do we have to turn our equipment off on that corner when we can turn at that last corner and make an entrance in to the left, which would, in my opinion, would be more viable and cheaper? Because basically it's already. That's all I'm going to say on it. I'm going to vote against this because I just don't think we should put ourselves in a situation where people in this room are going to be held accountable if someone gets hurt. Because it won't be a director or administration being held accountable. It's going to be this group of people right here. We're ultimately responsible.
Thank you, Len.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Councilor Cox, and then I'll come to the director.
One more. I'm pretty conflicted here because the motion, right? Us as council, I think we should be staying away from operational stuff. And this is certainly, this whole conversation is now muddying that water. That being said, yeah, if there are issues that need to be addressed, then it's our job as council to address it. I certainly have some concerns with it. In terms of Len's comments there, I mean, if we pass this motion as it is, that frees this council of all liability because we don't have a say in operational things. But whether or not it should be there or not, I don't know. But yeah, my concerns and thoughts on the matter, there is room to the side, on the other side of the street where you could put a sign for addressing. And the bigger problem in my mind is that's there's a lot of ATV traffic and dirt bikes that hopefully go where that guardrail is right now, rather than the multi-use trail. I see, because I live on that corner, I see a lot of traffic using that multi-use trail, ATVs and dirt bikes all the time. I think I've probably said it before in this meeting, but especially when they're going to the trailer court, I've seen piles of kids go ripping down the multi-use trail, and they don't slow down and they don't look when they cross that Switzerland Road. So at some point the back truck's gonna be coming out of there and they're gonna get flattened. Or when they're whipping around the corner coming the other way, they're gonna get somebody on the blind corner right on Wintergreen Street there. So I think if the guardrail stays, it should come with a lot more enforcement on the corner and just whether we put poles in there to keep side-by-sides off on the multi-use trail or to narrow it somehow or some other means of at least slowing them down. We gotta get the dirt bikes and the side-by-sides off that corner. Because either a pedestrian's gonna get hit on the trail or a biker's gonna get flattened. So we don't wanna see either of that. That's it, thank you.
Thank you. SAO?
I feel that the decision, I feel like the briefing note was very, very clear on why we're doing it, what is in place and the reasons for it. I don't have a lot of the background. Again, I came in on this one. I had a brief conversation with my team about it. I think this is an operational decision, and I think much like other conversations that have happened in this room, this is something that's maybe stepping outside the bounds of strategic planning and long-term community growth. I think this is something that's put in, there is thought behind it, there will be a sign in there, and I think this does help direct it as a traffic calming measure. And I think Councillor Bay spoke to that a little bit without using that term. So I think council needs to really consider, like Councillor Cox said, the fact that this motion does say that this is an operational decision and that these are the factors that we've taken into consideration in developing this. So I think council needs to really decide if they want to step into operational matters or if they want to continue on the high strategic long-term planning for the community.
Thank you. Councillor Karshak?
Yeah, I'm also conflicted. I hear both sides. I drove by there, and my first thought is, yes, it's ugly, but it is not finished. I also thought it was very close to the roadside edge. I don't know what guidelines there are under highways or roads. How far away from the edge of the road should a guardrail be? I don't know. It looked awful darn close to me. And if we're going back to the power pole thing, I don't think it was ever said from Protective Services or from that end that it was put up to protect a power pole. That was an assumption I think that council made and just ran with it. So I don't think that was ever the intent of this. Now, if there's a sign going in the middle that could cause a hazard, that's another thing. But yeah, I also agree. It is operational. It is ugly, and if we could beautify it up somehow, and I still think it's a bit close. So I don't know. I'm very torn on this one, but I'm going to go with I guess the experts on that, and if people are used to whipping around at a higher speed, and Councillor Tuckey says, would be liable. Well, no, we're not liable if they're speeding and driving unsafe at a speed, unsafer conditions. So I think that's an education aspect of this too, is that people need to know that. So to yours, if it's a little bit of a deterrent for speeding around the corner, so much the better.
Great, thank you. So, did you want to speak to it? You don't have to. I'm just going to let everyone in.
Yeah, I'm just sort of looking at the wording of the motion as presented. It's just a motion saying we reaffirm what is already a given fact, is that mayor and council do not involve themselves in the day-to-day operations of the town. That those are operational matters. I don't know why we need a motion to say that.
Okay, that's it.
All I have.
Thank you. Councillor Tuckey?
Okay, so this is my closing remark, that's all. I'm not trying to get involved in operations of the town of Fort Smith. We have a master transportation plan that was approved by town council. That's our part. And I said very clearly, I've checked that master transportation plan, I've gone through it, I've seen all the work projects. There was no mention of putting this installation in that master transportation plan. And if town council hadn't approved this master transportation plan, we wouldn't be talking about operations. We are responsible for what the town does. Town council is responsible for that. And I don't like to put myself in a situation where I feel like I'm putting someone in danger. It's not my job as a councillor to do that. And a lot of people in Fort Smith have approached me, they don't feel that that's safe, there's a kid that's going to get hurt. And guess what? We've had motorcycles, ABTVs driving down the main street on the sidewalks. We don't have bylaw out at night. So, why would we be responsible for that person doing that, right, if they hit somebody on the sidewalk? Of course, it's not gonna come back on us. But because this council approves that, we are putting ourselves in a liable situation. Because if the town's taken to court, it's not the administration, it's not the directors, it's the mayor, deputy mayor, and councillors who will be named in the lawsuit. That's my understanding how it works. And if I'm wrong, well then maybe I need to be corrected. But the bottom line is, I am not going to vote in favor for anything that I think has the potential to put the public in harm's way. I think there should be an alternate route into the sewage lagoon. It would be much more appropriate to handle the problem. We're like never going to stop the guys on the bikes, the off-road machines. They're going to do whatever they want. But I don't want anybody slamming into something like this and say, oh yeah, I passed that. Thank you. That's it.
Councillor Heaton?
So there seems to be a lot of space in the entrance of the wastewater treatment facility. I'm just wondering like why that particular triangle was chosen. Again, because I think it's putting in a hazard when there's lots of empty space on both sides of that entry to put a sign.
Thank you. SAO?
I'm sorry, I can't speak for that.
Any other comments? So the motion on the floor, all in favor? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Councillor Karshak, Faith, Deputy Mayor, and Councillor Cox. And against? Oh, it's tied. So in the circumstance, it has to come down to the mayor to break the vote. And I'm actually in alliance with, I think there would have been a better spot for this. I don't want to interfere with operational tendencies of the town, but there is rights. This is something that has caused a lot of concern for the community members. We need signage there. We need to comply with our own bylaw for bylaw 642 about our civic addressing. But I think there might have been a better, more aesthetically pleasing way that all would be more pleased with in that. And so I will vote to against this motion. So it is defeated.
I'm just wondering where that leaves us now on this, like what's the result? If we're just not, basically this was to accept it as information, if we're and kind of affirming the operational jurisdiction and our jurisdiction as council. So if we're voting against this now, what are we for? Or is it just done?
Is there something that the town can bring back with a better sign placement? I know that guardrails have been going up all over town. They've been, like, this isn't the first one. This is probably like, I think, 6th one going up that no one has said anything about. I think this one is caused most concern because of the placement of it, where it sits, and how it, like, definitely has, we've all seen it, like, whoa, that's causing people to concern. I think there's maybe a more aesthetically pleasing and better way to place the signing there. I think Councillor Cox spoke to something about the room or the sign even on the other side of the road could have been, if we're putting in a guardrail to protect the signage, maybe there's a better way of doing it. If we're there to protect the sign, because that seems to be what it's, putting up signs, so let's put guardrails to protect it. Maybe there's a better way that we could come up with to come to, for it. That's it.
I can definitely take it back for consideration, however, I think the factors are more than just the sign. But if council chooses to interfere in operations, then I'll have to reconvene with my team. I'm very disappointed in that. I really think that this is something, this was explained, this decision, but I think that council should have just let it go forward and wait to let it make it more aesthetically pleasing. I think traffic calming measures are utilized internationally for exactly this way, but I don't have any answers for what the alternative is at this time, or the cost of returning it, or what the options are. I think making decisions around people who are already breaking the law maybe is not the best way to go about making decisions. If kids are running their bikes there and speeding and everything, I think that's really not how we want to be making decisions. But I'm not, I don't have any answers right now.
So then we'll just come back to us. You'll just come back to us after you meet with your team?
Yep.
Councillor Benoit?
When people approach you in the community, especially like me sitting here, I'm speaking for them, right? So that's why they elected me to come in here and sit and speak on their behalf. And this is where it's coming from, the community. Those are remarks from the community. Those are not remarks from us stepping into the weeds. That's not what it's about. It's about the community's concerns. That's what we're dealing with here. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Cox?
Thanks. I think we've fallen out of our flow of full point of order meeting thing, but people are talking, so I'll say a little bit. I'm just wondering on that note, so maybe there's an opportunity for educational session with us to for those things that affect the community like this, where it's operational, so council should be out of it. What avenues do we have to bring those concerns forward, and maybe not now, but sometime in the future, we can have a little bit of a session or a briefing note on what tools we do have to stay out of the weeds, but to still have some influence or to help convey the public's concerns about stuff like this. Because I don't know what our tool is for that. And just to say it's operational doesn't look good on us, and it just, we need a good tool to convey people's concerns and make it sound like they've been heard, but still stay out of the weeds and have those concerns heard, but dealt with without messing things.
SEO?
Absolutely, I'd like to have a chance to have further information session around it, but bringing the concerns forward to ensure that they are considered in the final by the team is definitely, this is the venue for that one. Hey, we've heard some concerns around this, or this. Can you please take that away and consider it? And if there's any changes you could make to accommodate that, that'd be great. Or is there any responses? This is definitely that. I think where the issue right now is a decision to interfere. But I think definitely bringing concerns forward. It's not aesthetic. This may be this. Is there a way we can make it more visible? I think bringing those concerns forward, this is absolutely your venue. This is your chance to bring those forward. Or sending me an email. or bringing it directly to me. Absolutely, that is your venue to do that one. There's two different considerations here. Right now, it's the fact that this was an operational, and we've told you why. That's based on public safety and best practices. But it's definitely, this is your opportunity, either coming to my office or bringing it up here, that these are some concerns. So there's two things at play here.
Okay, Councillor Kershaw.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go back to what the motion actually said. The motion says that we affirm the town's ability to handle operations. It says nothing about whether the guardrail should be continued. It says nothing about whether the guardrail should be demolished and replaced in some other way, shape, or form. It was a very generic statement that says we should keep out of it. If there was another motion that says, we wanna look at improving the aesthetics or relocating it or looking at alternate entryways, that's a different topic. But I am disappointed that this didn't pass in the fact that the motion itself says that we should leave operations in the town. I think people voted for something that
I
they
think it's
didn't think.
implied, the briefing note
Yeah,
is
well.
reflective of that, but it doesn't quite say that in that motion. Did anyone want to bring up a motion regarding giving direction for coming back with, like you just said, changing location or aesthetically pleasing or whatever that looks like? Councillor Heaton?
Sure. Don't really know how to say it, but I move that administration find a better location for this sign, if that's all the guardrails are protecting, right?
Okay.
That's not directly on the road.
Okay.
Is that all I need? Oh, and complete removal of the guardrail?
Okay. So a better placement to be compliant with bylaw 64042 for the civic address numbering, and that the guardrails be removed. Is that so that's the motion. Is there a seconder? Okay, Councillor Ben will second that. Now discussion.
I think you're, again, getting this, as our SEO would say, back into the weeds. You don't want them to remove the guardrail. What you want is a better proposal from administration on how that corner can be set up. That may mean moving the guardrails that are there back to the other road. That may mean moving them somewhere else. They still may be there. Maybe doing the road that goes, like don't cut off options for them. Come back with a better proposal that you want.
Okay.
That we can look at, and it may mean that those guardrails are still there, but they're deployed in a different arrangement further back, protecting the new sign placement over here. But don't say remove the guardrails, because maybe the plan is you still need a guardrail. You just need it somewhere else. So what you want is a better plan. You start giving that level of detail in a motion, basically you might as well go there and put it in yourself, because these guys aren't going to do it.
Copy that.
It's as simple as that.
Okay, so what is the motion?
Is that the administration
There's a
bring?
motion on the table.
We can amend that. We'll amend that. Amend it to.
Amended to.
A better plan, a new arrangement.
Well, not just a plan, I think we should look at maybe a couple different options.
Thank you,
Plans.
options. Better words than get rid of the guardrail. Like, bring back options. Let us look at it. Let's see what you want to do. And you guys can do what you do.
I'm getting quite confused now because I'm hearing a lot of suggestions. It sounds like we're actually getting involved with the operations. We're not supposed to do that.
No,
So
We're not
basically,
asking
I think
that, we're asking for options.
we're asking for options, man.
it's not our job to provide options. That's
We're
the
not providing them,
administration's
we're
job.
asking.
Point of order.
Thanks, Mike.
Your amended motion,
Mm-hmm.
what is it?
I'm asking the deputy mayor.
I thought you were writing there.
I am, amended to new plans for
outlining options for a better way, or a way to protect that corner. Like just leave it as broad as that. Let them do their job using the knowledge they have. We just look at the final proposal. We're not getting into the weeds, and then we're not making decisions for them about a guardrail or a sign.
Okay.
I'm sorry, rambling, this is frustrating.
So amended to new plans for options regarding the protection of the
Sewer Lagoon Corner. For lack of a better name.
for the guardrail along McDougal Road and signage of the wastewater. Right?
And you're okay with that amended change? You seconded it.
Okay. So amended to request administration for new plans with options for the guardrail along McDougal Road.
Not, it's more, no, not the guardrail, it's the option, they're putting in the signage placement, or,
It's all of it. It's the protection of that.
May I make a suggestion?
yeah,
That council directs administration to reconsider the current plan and see if there are other options or considerations that can be taken into plan.
that's fantastic.
What she said.
Okay,
Are you good with that?
perfect.
Thanks, Fran.
All right. Okay, moving on, council business.
You need to vote.
Is it a motion?
She just.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was, okay.
You just tell them to rewrite it.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. And then opposed? Opposed?
Yeah.
Opposed, Cox and Bath opposed? Okay, everyone else was in favor? Okay, thank you. All right, going on now, council business. We have no new bylaws or policies in our package. We have no appointments. So mayor and council board representatives, so starting with you, Councillor Tucky, we'll go around the room.
No, I don't really have too much to say, actually. I think I'd like to acknowledge Director Grenier and his group for the work they've done around the graveyards. Been actually looking very good out there, both graveyards. Or something else. And that's it.
Okay, yeah, all right, Councillor Cox.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's nice to see the ditches are getting caught up on. On that, I've been thinking about it and looking at stuff, and a lot of the stuff that we see now with all the vegetation growth, the clover is taking over. And in my memory, clover wasn't here 10 years ago. I don't know when it became such a problem, but right, the yellow clover, the white clover, it is an invasive species, and it's taken over. And I'm only going off what I can remember. Maybe it was, but I think the ditches getting as high as they are is part of that invasive species. And I started asking around actually, and it's something I'll chase a little more. But it is something to keep in mind in terms of given the guys clearing a bit of leeway, is stuff grows at different rates with weather, and maybe our operations might need to reflect or catch up with that in the future. But the reason I started asking about it, I said, well, technically that could be a climate change invasive thing, and maybe somehow we can spin that for a forest growth funding, climate change funding, whatever, because it is in terms of fire management and stuff, it's new vegetation that's harder to manage than what we've had historically. Side tangent. Paddlefest this weekend, last weekend, seemed like it was really well received. Yeah, people had lots of fun. So saw the fire smart stuff going on. The mowing's getting done. That looks great. So all of a sudden you see this nice big clear area down by the highway, you start to see opportunities for whatever potential opportunities we could use that land for. So, yeah, that's great. So, thanks.
All right, Councilor Quebec.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For committee work for the NTPC Intervention Committee business, we have filed again for intervener status on the new work that the Power Corp or the GNWT in cooperation with the Power Corp has brought forward for a new policy on electrical generation, addressing issues of how renewables will be accepted into the system and things like that. We feel that as a community we need to be heard when the government is drafting policy, so we've again put in our comments, or we're waiting for the document to come out and for consultation sessions to start on the new policy. So we are registered as an intervener or stakeholder.
Yeah.
Also just want to put a shout out for the 3 festivals that will be coming up next week. From the 14th onwards, there's a Whooping Crane Festival running from the 14th to the 17th. The Dark Sky Festival is running from the 18th of August to the 21st, and that will be followed up by the Fireweek Festival running the 22nd to the 24th. So we're going to have 10 days of festivals, and hopefully a lot of people will come to town to celebrate with us through this period of time, and it'll generate a lot of economic activity for our community. And I'm glad that the town is supporting all 3 festivals. Thank you.
Benoit?
I don't have anything to report, but I just want to say to the community that we had a good July and the beginning of August, and I hope everything goes good as well with the festivals. Yeah.
Okay. I was down at the Canoe River race with the deputy mayor. The mayor, Carl, was there doing safety, and then Councillor Tourette was on the bun wrapping station, Fast and Furious. It was a fun event, really super fun, and I thank you, Daniel and Emily Prescott, for making that happen with the collaboration of the other groups that supported it and sponsored it. I do want to give a shout out specifically to Star Wilkie. She's done an incredible job with the Whooping Crane Festival, and she's definitely worked her butt off. So please go and support the festival happening next week. Holy. Okay, August 14th to 17th. There's something for everyone, and then also with Salt River First Nation and their treaty land entitlement. So super excited about that subdivision. It's been a long time coming, and it's going to be a great time to celebrate. Lots of things happening in our community, so masicho.
Yeah, just a couple things. Number one, you gave an update on your committee. The Communications Committee will be giving an update at the next meeting. And I just wanted to raise a concern. I've been sitting here as a councillor now for 8, maybe going on 9 months, so almost a year. And we haven't seemed to have addressed or updated any bylaws or policies. We have that on there on council business, and it's blank. I think it behooves us to get our butts in gear and start looking at least one a meeting, one a month, I don't know, whatever the schedule makes sense. But I don't know why we're waiting. So I just wanted to raise that. I know we're waiting for the half person to look at some of this stuff, but not everything is half. But that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. I'll build on that in a second, but I also wanted to thank all of the town employees that were involved in the River Rendezvous / Paddle Fest this weekend. It was a really nice event and really nice to see everybody out on the water and just like the community spirit that was involved there. On the kind of going to the bylaw things, I think part of the discussion that happened over the last week that was really uncomfortable and was really unfair for a lot of the town staff to be kind of the brunt of the criticism kind of falls on us as council for not catching some of the wording. Thank you for that. But that's the sort of thing we should be seeing and kind of in open discussion so that staff aren't so that staff aren't having like some really unfair and just very mean-spirited comments directed at them from the community because of misunderstanding and because we're not doing our job on our side. And I think part of that comes into us being like involved in that bylaw review.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor?
I was gonna mention the Paddle Fest thing, but that was done, so, but yes, I was one of the ones flipping burgers there. We also had I did a summer Santa in July with Fireweed, so we're trying to support them going. Those of you that saw Santa that day. I'm a little concerned about some of the headlines that I saw while I was out of town at my friend's funeral, about certain, I don't want to repeat the words, but certain situations, law enforcement in Fort Smith, and I hear the RCMP are busy and short-staffed. It's been a few months now since we've seen them. I think if we can get them back to the table again, even with them being busy, it would be good. Because I feel like we're disconnecting. It's been 2 months now that we haven't seen weird headlines in the newspaper I don't want to repeat. So I just think we should get them back somehow engaged with us. I'd like to see that starting again. And tomorrow, just for those who aren't aware, who didn't sign up, but there are 3 of us who did, Pine Point meeting will be tomorrow here in the morning. So there'll be 3 of us that have signed up to sit with the Pine Point people to talk about the community. It's 9 to 10 in the morning. I don't know if anybody else would like to join us, but it's 9 to 10 here. So I'll leave that up for council members that want to come out and have a say about Pine Point Mine. And I think that's about it for today.
All right, thanks. So, I was just gonna say, I did meet with the RCMP at the beginning of this month. No, I think it was like mid-July, and they are trying to correct the staffing shortage in all, like bringing together all 3 areas, so Hay River, Res, and Fort Smith as kind of acting as one unit. And so you should be seeing new faces in the community, and you should be seeing different officers here, and you should be seeing higher police presence on the highways and things like that. And I know that we don't have enough numbers in our community to fill I think we have 12, I think it's 12, and we have, I think 6, is that correct? Yeah, ish, yeah, something like that. So we're not even at 50% for them. So I know that they're trying to make it better, but you're right about getting them back in and talking to them and asking the questions we need to. Everyone's already mentioned all the community events that are happening which I'm really looking forward to. And we did host coffee and conversation with the mayor last Monday-ish, and it was well received. We had people come in and talk to us, and they brought up concerns. Nothing that came up really from the headlines, but more of other things that folks were talking about and wanting addressed. So I know Alan mentioned, or Councillor Kershak mentioned our communication committee, but that's kind of an ongoing thing. It'll be like word on the street or coffee with the mayor, things like that, so we can get questions and get answers in a real-time way for them. And that was like the first step for that. TLC, we're ongoing with advocacy for the college and really pushing to sit with the chair of the Board of Governors. And I know that will be happening here pretty quick, so that we're pushing Fort Smith on like what's going on with their programming, what's going on with employment, what's going on with the student retention, retraction, everything like that. So, and holding those folks accountable and asking like, what are you doing to use your resources and assets and facilities that are in this community, and not just, as we're watching them deplete, making sure that they're filling those rooms. And I can't believe no one here didn't mention we had the Prime Minister of Canada here.
That's yours.
Oh.
That was yours.
Well, I mean, he was here and I think it was really well attended. Connie was a protester and I think he thought you were the best protester ever. Big smiles and handshakes. It was so funny. The security chief was like, no, don't go around. He's all like, no. He goes over hands.
It was a nice sign.
Totally nice sign. So, and I think it was a good shout out for Fort Smith. I think anyone who met the Prime Minister really felt that he talked to you, he heard you, he listened to you. He it was a good connection piece for us. I felt that way. And the town had given him a gift of a stained glass snowshoe. And I hand-delivered him a letter from TLC asking for federal resources for larger infrastructure pieces in water and all that we were looking for in a collaborative way. So it was here you go. And he opened it, looked at it, and says thank you. And I'm hoping he'll get some feedback from him soon. So I think that was all it for my update. Oh. NTPC proceedings is on the next one. Did you want to talk about that? It looks like it's on here. No, you already spoke to it? Okay.
I'd like to speak to it if we could.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
It is on there. Just that this is an unfunded cost. We are not covered for this next round. In previous years, it has been quite expensive of what it's come out to. It was $21,000 in 2024. To date, we're at $16,200 that we've spent. We haven't been refunded any of it yet because it hasn't closed when that first case closed. So this is the cost we've been carrying for 2 years. Council's been putting it towards their public relations budget of $18,000. Currently, that $18,000 budget is at $23,000. So you've exceeded that one. And then in 2024, your PR budget of $18,000 was $49,000 final number. So carrying forward, if we're doing this, we don't have a budget for that. Just so you know, I saw the thing come in, and I just said, well, how much is this costing? If we're not getting refunded for it, where is that budget coming from?
Is there any budget in the positions that we haven't filled or backfilled, like the student that we didn't have or didn't commit?
The student we didn't have was HR. Well, it's just that one.
Councillor Heaton?
I thought we were keeping track of all of the damage that NTPC did with the brownouts and stuff like that. Like, I'm sure they're not going to be eager to settle it, but I'm just wondering, like, could we use it from that accounting that we've been doing over the past year?
That's to recover the damages and the costs that we put out. Like, that's money that's been spent without any replacement value.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't over and above, and this is a council expense. So that's why I'm just.
Okay.
I just want you, we don't even have to answer it now, we don't think, but the fact is that this is a budget amount. I mean, each of those invoices are coming in at $6,000, $4,000, $7,800, $9,000. Like, these are, each invoice that we get from our consultants are coming in quite high. And so they're accumulating quite quickly, so.
Councillor Corbett?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. With the previous and the ongoing intervention related to the general rate application, all of those funds are fully refundable from the Public Utilities Board. Unfortunately, with a lot of other expenses, we probably do have to account for carrying costs. Same as insurance, anything like that, where you have to put money out in advance of being able to claim it back. How that is done internally, that would be, I hate to say getting into the weeds, but we're doing trying to ensure that the public interest is protected, or at least represented by an authority of the town of Fort Smith on behalf of the community. Without that representation, there's no voice speaking up for the people of Fort Smith and the rate increases that the Power Corp seems to be going through, and these arbitrary decisions or policy making that they do based out of a cubicle in Yellowknife, and it will have lasting impacts on our residents. So how we carry those costs going forward is something that I have to leave that to administration to figure out. With this upcoming intervention, we've asked for clarification if the Public Utility Board will cover our cost of being represented during the engagement sessions, and if that comes back as no, they will not, then we can revisit whether we will actually engage in the process. And that will be a decision from council.
So, Councillor Cox?
Thank you. Yeah. So my understanding is everything to date should be refundable, and that's under law and agreement or however it's set up. Maybe we're getting to the point if we are carrying multiple years worth of debt on this, that we need to push that to the appropriate ministers and Power Corp boards and whatnot. That, yeah, if we're going a couple of years without getting paid for intervenor stuff, that's not right, right? Everybody else has to pay on a 30, 60-day, 90-day cycle. That should be applicable here as well. We've intervened, we've done the work, we should be able to pay for the work that's been done. For this stuff, if my suggestion would be if we get intervenor status, then rather than incur more debt, really, I hate to be the pessimist and say we're not gonna have much change anyway, but yeah, if we don't get set in writing refundable intervenor status, then maybe we do our own in-house committee and just do it on our own rather than to hire the experts to go to bat for us, given how it might be anyway. Yeah, that's my thoughts.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor?
I say, Mr. Kemtrick, you're often one to hold us to the feet to the flame for budgets, making sure that it's explained and it's tracked and it's whatever. This one seems like a budget with no control to me, by the way I've heard it described, in the sense that we're not. So to me, even if some sort of ceiling or cap would be put on it to say when the town hits, which I think we've hit now because we've exceeded the budget we had, that it's at least brought to this table so that we know that this group, we know they're doing good work on one side, but if it's costing us money, we're not getting reimbursed. There's no hope of getting reimbursed. That's, yes, they would need to tell us, I guess, with her work. It's not a blank check to just keep meeting with consultants and rigging up the bills. That would be my argument. At some point, we have to say, if we're not getting reimbursed, we gotta stop. I think Carol made some good points as to how we do that. Dana, you're getting
Nope, yeah,
Hello.
sorry, just a sec, yeah. Councillor Quebec?
Yeah, thank you. It's legislated policy that we, as an approved intervener, we are reimbursed our cost. Just in defense of the cost, the City of Yellowknife, Hay River, they're all running about $100,000 for their intervener status. Power Corporation's probably $500,000 of costs that they get reimbursed as interveners. So us putting out $25,000, I think, is a fairly reasonable return for, well, not return on investment, but representation comparative to other jurisdictions.
Are you looking for direction with this conversation?
Well, I think the conversation, I wanted to start the conversation point out that we don't have a budget. And so we're incurring unbudgeted costs on council's budget lines. So, what is the plan for that? Is there a plan to fight to get reimbursement for that one? I needed clarification of that, and I want council to be aware that we're entering into non-recoverable funds right now.
Do you want me to follow up with the NTPC Intervenor Committee Group?
Yeah,
To get some
I'd like to
information?
know more. This was just brought to my attention. I saw it on there. I looked into it and I was like, and then I was told that as of this point, the administrator for that, so this one that we're going into, the new, I forget the number right now, thank you, is not, that we're not recovered, that we do not get recovered funds for that one, so that one, that made me worried. The fact is, we are carrying this amount of money for 2 years, that's also kind of a concern for me. So I think some advocacy and some maybe pressure to ensure that we are getting our bills paid. That when we submit, we're actually getting recovered. You're right about the 30, 60, 90 days.
Okay.
But that's an agreement that was signed, I think, before you came on, so the terms of it were already set, that it wasn't recovered until the full intervention had completed. But I think going forward, we should be a little more timely.
Okay. We'll come back to you with more information then.
Yeah, please. Can I make a motion?
Okay, all right. So moving on, proclamations. None. The date of the next council meeting, so there is, well, our next,
August 19th.
yeah, our next is
Um,
August.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to ask, actually, if we could consider, and I'm sorry to bring it up, I didn't get a chance to talk with you. So it's the first, I think it's supposed to be the second, but suggestion that because that's right after the long weekend, if we could look at moving the meetings back a week. It is, there's a lot of Tuesdays in September. So I think we have a lot of room to move them around in there. I'm just wondering if we could move them back by a week.
So you're suggesting then, so for the meeting, so our regular next meeting will happen at August 19th at 7 p.m., but the meetings in September would be
Yes.
for September 9th and then at September 23rd.
Yes, please.
They're just, yeah, you're right, there's a lot of Tuesdays in September.
And we can change the dates with enough advance notice. If that's what you're gonna say.
Yeah,
I
Councilor
was
Corbett?
just gonna advise Mayor and Council, I will not be available for the next August meeting.
Okay, the 19th? Okay.
Thank you. Check.
Dark sky.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. So, I don't think we need a motion for that, we'll send that out and if everyone is fine with the times? Okay, okay. All right, so then there's no one to be excused? So, adjournment.
I move that the meeting be adjourned at 8:27.
Second?
I'll second it.
Perfect. All in favor?
Okay.